Welcome back, 710 Garage here. So we're here tonight, got the Corvette on the lift, and customer wants to pick it up. Problem is, we need one more thing before this thing can leave. Has a supercharger on it now, so we increase the horsepower. What better thing can you do than throw an exhaust system on it? So we're gonna go ahead and put a Magnaflow exhaust system on the car tonight, and we're gonna get rid of these chrome tips that stick out here because nobody really likes chrome, and we're gonna do some black stuff. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. So not only are we going to be replacing the mufflers, which will give it a lot more tone, but we're also going to be shaving a bunch of weight. We'll go and show you these mufflers compared to the new stuff we're putting on, but this is the new system. I went ahead and kind of loosely installed it here, but as you can see, you have a really small muffler here, goes into a Y pipe. You'll put your valve here, and then it goes out to the tip. These are 4 black tips on this thing. I went ahead and put the 2 sides of it together right here with this little plate, and it's about ready to go on. So what we need to do is go under the car. We need to remove this center section of the valance, and then we're gonna go ahead and cut the factory mufflers so we can put this on. Let's go ahead and start doing that. All right, so like we said, we want to get rid of these chrome or polished tips. So what we need to do is pull off the valance here, and to do that, there's 2 bolts up here. There's 2 right here behind the license plate, same 2 on the other side, and then 5 on each side underneath. So we're just gonna go ahead, pull those out of there, and get it out of the way so we can get this thing off. Helps when you get the right size sockets. All right, so this is the scariest part of doing this, and what we need to do is unclip this whole back section. There's 2 little grills. Let me turn the camera. So there's 2 little grills right here that go up the side, and what you want to do is you pop it right down here at the bottom, and then this whole grill is going to pop out of this, well, for us it's orange, but it's going to pop out of there, and you just kind of pull it like that. And then as you can see, it kind of works itself free. Same thing over here on the driver's side. All right, so like I said, that's the scariest part, popping those clips out. We're gonna take this, pull it off, and I'm gonna go set this thing on a towel over there so that it doesn't get scratched or anything, and we'll come back and remove these big old mufflers. All right, so if you're gonna try and do this, make sure that you have these little interior tools. This is a plastic set I got off of Amazon. They're super cheap and they don't scratch. So you can use it, you know, to start pulling some of those clips out of there, help you, and it won't scratch the car up. We're gonna go and move for these mufflers. Now you can see that this muffler itself is pretty big here, and it's got the valve on it. We need to disconnect that valve, the wiring harness, which is just 1 little clip here. So we're gonna pull this off. We'll pull off the other wiring harness, and we'll move to the back side underneath, where I'll show you how we're gonna cut it off. All right, so we got the exhaust off the car, as you can see. I just have it laying on some cardboard, and we're gonna be removing these 2 massive mufflers. We need to cut just a couple inches after the factory valve here, and we're gonna be replacing it with that. So as you can see, heck of a lot smaller. It's gonna save us a ton of weight from these. And we take these valves here, and we put them in right here to the other tips. So we still get the valves, we still have, you know, a muffler in there so you can't get in trouble, and we retain these valves up here. So that's a look at them side to side. Let me back up just a little bit. There you go, that's a look at them side to side, and we're gonna go ahead, mark these out, and get them cut. right, so we loosely have the new stuff up in the car, and now we need to steal the motor off of the factory muffler. So as you can see, here's the valve here, and what you do is grab an 8mm and you just loosen these couple bolts on the back of it. Save the bolts because we're going to use them to put it back on. So there you go. You undo your 3 bolts, the motor comes off, and we are going to put it on the new one. Number 2. All right, so this is the new valve. You can see it has the Magnaflow logo on it. Really nice valve here. And we are going to put the stock motor back on the top. So all you do, take your motor, it slides in like this. And that's it. Throw your 3 bolts back in the bottom. We are off to the races. We'll do the second one, same thing. You're just going to take the motor itself. All right, so now that we got the valve, engine or motor, whatever you want to call it, electric motor there, placed on the new Magnaflow valve, we're ready to go ahead and put those last 2 tips on. If your vehicle did not have valves, they send you this pipe, and this pipe here is obviously the same length this way that the valves version is, but it has no valve. It's just a straight through pipe. So if you have valves, you use this part. If you have no valves, you use this part, and that's about it. So we're gonna go ahead and get these mounted up on there. It comes with a V-band clamp, so we'll loosely put these up. We can put the rear valance back on, and then we can adjust all the tips before we tighten up any of the clamps under the vehicle, and we're good to go. All right, so back here, like I said, we got a V-band clamp. We're gonna throw some V-band clamps on these valves, get the other tip in there, and then we'll start sliding the valance over top. So we got it just a little bit snug. As you can see, we can still rotate it anywhere we need. So now we can plug in our little electric motor here. That's gonna go on like that. And we're gonna throw the next one up. So same thing, we're getting close to the end of this one, thank goodness. And we are going to rotate that like that. We're gonna roll this clamp all the way up. Aim it toward the inside so that you don't see any of the bolts. Nothing worse than doing an install and you see all the bolts hanging out the back or at the bottom or anything. So we'll roll this like this. All right, so that's real quick, loose, kind of where I think they're gonna end up. What we're gonna do, like I said, is slide that whole valance back on so we can line them up real nice in the opening. And then we'll go back underneath, tighten it all up. All right, we're just gonna lower the hoist down just a little bit. I raised it to get underneath and a bit of a pain, so let's drop her down. So there you go. We got the bumper back on, exhaust is in there, it looks great with the 4 black tips. Those are 4.5 inch diameter. These things are massive, but it actually fills out the cutout there in the valance absolutely perfectly. I'll bring you in, we'll take a quick peek at it, and then I'm gonna go fire this thing up and we'll see how good it sounds. All right, so there you go, guys. This thing's back installed now. As you can see, the 4.5 inch diameter tips, I mean, these tips are absolutely massive, but they fill out that valance perfectly. So all that's left to do is do a startup, see how good it sounds, and deliver it back to the customer. He'll be here in the morning, so yeah, let's get it fired up and go to get some sleep. Alright guys, so there you have it. This thing fired right up as it should. It's a 19. Exhaust really isn't that loud. I thought it was going to be a lot louder. The valves are open right now, so that's about as loud as it's going to get. It's got to have some resonator up front, but hey, whatever. It sounds a lot better than it did stock, and I think the customer's going to be super happy. So that's a wrap for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. This is a Magnaflow system, and I will put the part number in the description below if you're interested in picking it up. Thanks guys, have a good one. Do stuff. Enjoy.